What's up, gamers? It's your boy, JKon. Welcome to another video. I know it's been a little bit since I posted about VCT, and I'm very sorry about that. I'll be completely honest. Green screen work is a creatively taxing process, and I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little burnt out. But I hope you have been enjoying my montage videos and my gaming videos, as that is what I primarily do and has been spending my time doing. So thank you nonetheless for all of your support, and I appreciate you. Anywho, let's talk about today's video, which is going over an article that Riot released a couple of weeks ago called the Valorant Data Drop, specifically for the VCT 2023 season. Now, this is something that I'm really excited about and wanted to share with you guys because it contains a bunch of what I call quote-unquote useless numbers, but they're kind of fun to know. A lot of these numbers that I consider useless don't really mean too much in the grand scheme of things, but it's still really cool to see. This article will contain things like highest KDA on agents, who dodged the most flashbangs, etc, etc. These are kind of just fun little facts that I think will just show little nuances within players' play, but doesn't explain everything that the team or player has experienced throughout the year. Now, if you know anything about me, I love these kind of useless facts and these useless data points. A really good example of this would be strange weapons in TF2 or stat track weapons in Counter-Strike. Now, I personally cannot use anything that is non-stat track or strange because I love seeing the kill counters go up. Now, you're going to probably be like, well, Justin, does tracking your all-time kills mean anything? And the answer is no, it really doesn't mean anything. I have met people who have 8,500 kills on their sniper rifle and they can't hit a headshot for sure, versus somebody with 10,000 kills on their AK and they will one-tap you instantaneously. The number of kills don't really amount to anything other than the amount of time that the person has played, and that does not directly indicate how good a player is. But for me, I just like seeing the little number go up and the ticker go higher and higher and higher, and that's just a personal preference. I like that kind of shit. That's just what I'm about. One of the things I really like about TF2 weapons in particular is that they have different tier levels. So as you get more kills, you will hit these milestones, which will change the name of your gun to a higher level. For example, you can go from rage inducing at 1500 to server clearing at 2500 to epic at 5000, etc, etc. I just think this is just a neat little feature and I really enjoy it. They don't have this in Counter-Strike, but that's totally fine. But overall, I just really like these kind of numbers. So without further ado, let's get into the article. Alrighty, this came out a few weeks ago, so my bad for being late, but when am I ever on time for anything? You know, that's just how it do be out here. Anywho, let's read this article and just see what's up. As the year comes to an end and a new season of the Champions Tour approaches, we thought it'd be a good time to take a look back at the 2023 by the numbers. God, I just love anything by the numbers. It's just, that's the nerd in me, you know? I love data. I love seeing these kind of graphs. I don't know. I just love this stuff. Agents of Chaos. First, let's talk about agents. In 2023, we saw high plays throughout the entire lineup. E.g. Com's 5 HP knife clutch. Yo, high key, I want to watch this clutch again. Oh, the stinger clutch. As soon as Ethan runs out of bullets. Gosh, I remember this. Remember this like it's like yesterday, man. Look at Ethan getting naded out, holding position, Com's on the rotate. Stocks are just holding with 5 HP. Good delaying on the plant. That's very smart. You want to wait for the plant, because if you rush it and your teammate's not in a position, you get killed instantly, then your teammate's in a worse position to trade. Whew. He sends out the ults, knocks them up, Calm runs out of bullets, and gets the knife. Chef's kiss play. Chef's kiss play. I love that. Look at that. Boom. No bullets. Choo! Man, that's so cool. It's such a smart play. One of the things that I really talk about in Valorant, especially with my friends, is that patience rewards frags. This is a game where it's so much easier when the enemy runs into your crosshair than when you're trying to put your crosshair on their head. And this game is definitely rewarding of that. And even if you run out of bullets, being patient and calm in that moment and realizing that, hey, whipping out the knife and doing it to him sometimes is what you gotta do. So props to Calm for that one. I love that play. Such a high moment. I can't get over it, man. Champions was such a great time. Anywho, let's continue on here. Picked an agent in at least 5 games throughout the 2023 season. Okay, that's fair. I think that's good. I think if you have like a large sample pool, that's really nice, especially because I feel like most agents got played-ish, except for Deadlock, because she's ass. Okay, anyways, let's look at them. They call this let them cook. All right, top kills per agent. Whoo! Look at this list. That's crazy. All right, let's start out at the top with my girl Astra. We have Shao putting up a 1.46 KDA overall. He doesn't have the greatest sample size with only about 300 KD between the both of them. But nonetheless, I still think this is crazy. He has the second highest KD on this entire board and just... I know Xiao is primarily known as an initiator player, but he's always been able to flex to other roles, especially the controller role, and clearly we see that he is quite talented at it. Next on the list, we have Breach and Chronicle. I feel like that's kind of expected. If you see how much time Chronicle has played Breach throughout the year, especially as he moved to Fnatic, he was primarily playing Viper and Breach the entire year. That was like his champ pool. He didn't really play anything else. Demon 1 on the Brimstone. Okay, of course, we have to talk about Demon 1. Like, this kid is just so freaking cracked. The fact that EG were able to bring in a young gun that was able to play both controller and duelist to a top level is just crazy. 1.4 KDA on Brimstone. That's just absurd. About same amount of KD rounds as Xiao, but like, holy. Next up, Demon 1 again on Chamber. I don't think there were a ton of Chambers that would play throughout 2023. It only really came out near LCQ / the end of the year, going into some of the global events, where of course we saw Laz carry Zeta Division with Chamber, but Demon 1 still on top. Cypher, Alpha here, Fnatic. I mean, Alpha's a beast. You know, there's always a conversation, and I was kind of thinking about this since I made a top 5 Sentinel players going to Champions video a little while ago. The question is if Alpha Year is the best Sentinel player or not. And to me, I think it's interesting because I think he's the best player on the Sentinel role, but he may not be the best Sentinel player, if that makes sense. I feel like Sentinel players have another level to them, but Alpha is just so good at this game that he's just able to click heads regardless of the role that he's on, and clearly be number 1 on Cypher. And you know, I'm gonna shout him out, number 1 on Killjoy. Of course, Killjoy was the dominant champion throughout the year. As you can see, Alpha has around 1,300 kills and deaths combined throughout the year. That is a ton, a huge sample size, literally 1,000 more than what Xiao and Demon 1 have Astra and Brim. But whew, a 1.4 KDA. This kid's a beast, an absolute beast. Anyways, Fade, Leo, I don't think that's really a big surprise. Leo is one of the best initiator players in the world, if not the best initiator player in the world. I personally think he's the best player in the world, if not one of the best. I think the argument also can be said for Leo as well, because he is such a good fragger, and his mechanics and his brain and his game sense are so good that he's just a top tier player that fits his role really well. May not be the best on that specific agent, but he is just such a top tier player that his skill is undeniable. Obviously, I mean, look at this. He appears twice more on this list. My man putting up a 1.41 KDA on Fade, a 1.41 KDA on Sova, and a 1.3 on Sky. I mean, those were the 3 main initiators throughout the entire year of 2023, and Leo is on the list 3 times. I mean, if you also want to talk about the entire Fnatic team in general, Alpha is on here twice. Chronicle is on here twice with his Sage. Sage is ass, by the way. Sage is trash. That's why she's not played. But Chronicle's on the list twice with Sage. Leo's on here 3 times. Like, Fnatic is undeniable. They just won Red Bull home ground. They're gonna continuing to be a top tier roster going into the future, for sure, for sure. Going on to Gecko. I'm a personal big fan of Gecko. I think I have a Gecko bias. I just love Wingman. But Cracks putting up a 0.96 KDA. Ooh, that's pretty rough. To be honest, Gecko really wasn't used that much throughout the year. I know Carpe pulled him out, Cracks pulled him out, a few of the Chinese teams pulled him out, but overall Gecko didn't really find too much of a place in the year, so it's not surprising that his numbers aren't that great. Harbor, Psalm, 100% agree with this one. I would say Psalm was the best Harbor throughout the year. I know that Loud were the ones that really innovated Viper Harbor, but Psalm was just so good throughout the year on that role that glad that he gets his name on here. Big respect. Safe for Jet. Now this one, I'm a bit surprised, but not surprised as well, because I have to think about like who are the top Jet players in the world, right? You think about Something, you think about Aspas, Safe has to be up there, like Durka. You have to think about all of these kinds of guys who were playing Jet throughout the year and his competition. And the fact that he put up the highest numbers of a 1.38 KDA is nuts. Nuts, especially because Liquid were kind of bad throughout the year. Don't get me wrong, I love Nats, huge fan of Nats, but that Liquid team were just not the greatest cohesion together. Obviously now they have broken up and have rebuilt going into the new year, but crazy that Safe is number 1 on this list. Like, he was an absolute beast, was really carrying them throughout the year, was their best player at Tokyo. Gotta give him his flowers. I really hope he does well in Team Vitality going into next year, taking a more supportive role, but we all know that this guy's a beast, and like, look at him, he's getting his recognition right here. Okay, moving on. I know we're talking about a lot of this, but this is really interesting to me. I love talking about these players. Divide. I love Devi. Devi is literally so good. He's so underrated. One of the best players in the world, and apparently one of the best KOs in the world. I definitely think his KO was pretty good, but I can really only think about him playing it on Ascent. They didn't really play KO much beyond that map, but nonetheless, they were quite dominant on Ascent. They also whipped out the Viper Harbor on Ascent and did quite well with that. So no surprises there. I mean, PRX are a great team. We already talked about Alpha. Aspas on Neon. That one's also kind of surprising to me, but also not. I feel like there are a lot of good Neon players out there. I think CNED's Neon was pretty good. I think Kiwi's Neon was very, very good. But I also have to think about, are Kiwi and CNED on the same fire level as Aspas in my eyes? Probably not. And again, this is just a record of their KD. It doesn't really necessarily mean impact. It doesn't tell you how the round goes, how many games they won, etc, etc. These are just numbers. So the fact that you put up big numbers on it, I mean, it's no surprise. Aspas is a freaking beast. Love that guy. Now this one, the next one, Nevera on Omen. This one is the really, really shocking one to me, that he is the highest rated player on Omen. Now don't get me wrong, Nevera is a cracked player. I love Nevera. I've been following his career for a very long time, back when he was on CS playing for Team Vitality. He's cracked. I totally understand that, but the fact that he's #1 on the Omen list is crazy to me, because there are so many good Omen players out there, and there's so many cracked controller players out there. And to be honest, I really didn't watch too much of KC stuff, so I'm just shocked that he's up here. But you know what? Props to you, Nevera. I mean, get your name up there, boy. Jing, literally the only guy that played Phoenix. He definitely has to be on the list. He's just the only guy that did it. Moving on, YZ on the Rays, bro. This guy is a monster. Clearly, we saw his masterpiece play against NRG at Champions when they got to debut on the international stage. And my boy put up big numbers, and here he is on the list. Shout out to YZ, man. China's coming, bro. China's coming. Something on the Reyna, of course. He's primarily the only one that got Reyna to work throughout the year and was absolutely dominant on it. He has the highest KDA on this entire list of 1.59. I hate Reyna as an agent, but you know, something on it is something else. That's for damn sure. And we finally get to the last one. We got Les on the Viper. Totally 100% agree with this one. A 1.32 KDA. Les is an absurd player. One of the best players in the world. I think if you were talking about like the Sentinel argument with Alpha here, right? I genuinely think that Les might be a better Sentinel player than Alpha, but Alpha just clicks heads a little bit better than Les. But Les is no slouch. Don't get me wrong. Les is no slouch. That mofo can click heads. My God. He's the one that really proved that Prelude to Chaos is pay to win. 100%. And then the last one is Yoru with CNED playing it. I think CNED probably had the most runs on Yoru overall, and he put up decent numbers at 1.03 KDA. Nothing like really crazy, but that was probably during the time when Navi was really cooking, like cooking too much, and that was just not it, bro. The next one, let the bodies hit the floor. Now, if we're talking about overall kills, now if they had a strange counter, this is where it would go into action. Top 10 players with the most kills in VCT. Aspas with 1402. Les not far behind with 1308. That's crazy. 2 players on Loud had the highest kills throughout the entire year. Just shows that roster was always going to be a contender. Even when they were rebuilding with Cal and Zine and 2Es, like they were always going to be a contender. Coming into this new year, they might struggle a little bit more, but I mean, they still got Les. They still got Sadak. That's all you need, baby. That's all you need. Next up, 1248 Demon 1 and 1205 for Jogamo. Now, if we're talking about duos, this is like literally the EG duo that won champions together. This is the 1-2 punch, the Raze Jet combo that would able to flip-flop to controller if they needed to, putting up double numbers. The fact that Demon 1 is at 1248, considering he came into the league after lock-in and 4 weeks into the season, so he was way farther behind the curve than most of these players, like these top players on this list, and he almost has as many frags as them. Just shows how good of a talent that this kid is, and I really hope that he will be able to get on a good team next year, and that he will be able to continue to play for champions, because his talent is undeniable. Moving on to the rest of this list, we have Durka at 1102. Pretty solid. The tip of the spear for Fnatic. Surprised Alpha isn't up here with as many, but you know, it do be what it do be. Boostio with 1177 with his teammate Ethan at 1105. So EG has 4 of the top 10 lists. Not surprising considering they played lock-in, they played the regular season. Then they also had to go through deep into a playoffs run. They also went deep at Tokyo and they won champions. So I think they played overall the most rounds throughout the year. So it's not surprising that they have 4 in the top 10, but Those boys be shooters, that's for damn sure. Kawanzine 1368. He is following up his teammates. I mean, literally everybody on here is just like from North America. No cap. Shout out to Durka and Buzz though. Buzz at number 8, 1164. Tip of the spear for his team. Actually had a really good year in my opinion. Buzz was really good. I think if they continue to keep him on the duel list, Buzz will make some noise. Buzz will make some noise. And the final is Sam at 1100. Yeah, W stripper. Love that. My ultimate is ready. Now this one would be pretty interesting. Sadok on Killjoy, which is quite surprising, but also kind of not. This man did flex to Killjoy consistently throughout the year, and Les primarily played Viper. But apparently he has ulted 13 times, and he was able to get 6 of those casts to catch people, to get them, you know, detained. Anyways, that's a 46.2% detain rate. That's actually crazy high. That's really surprising, to be honest. The next one, we have Raze. Foxy9, 19 casts, did 2389 damage with an average damage per cast of 126. That's basically one-shotting. That means every time he ulted, he basically got a kill, which is pretty consistent. I mean, we all know how Raze ults are. Shout out to Rosa. I mean, you know how it do be, bro. It do be what it do be. So shout out to Foxy9. Genji TS with 11 casts for 131 damage per cast. That's crazy. I did watch a lot of Genji. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of King, and they did not look that great, to be honest. But it's kind of crazy that TS still did so much damage, you know? Good for him. Brimstone for Marv. Wow. Considering Marv came in very late into the season, 20 casts for 62 damage per cast. That's pretty good chip damage. You know, that means they were in there for like a second, maybe second and a half. That's pretty solid damage. Pretty good. Victor on Neon. 6 casts, 132.4 damage per cast. That's higher than the Sova and the Raze, so that's almost a kill per cast, which is pretty good. That's pretty good. Leaf with the Jet 9s. Full Leaf. 48 casts for 169 damage per cast. A guaranteed kill plus damage every time that Leaf popped ult. That's crazy. I mean, it's one of the strongest ults in the game. It's been like that for years. Crow on Zeta playing Harbor. He barely played Harbor. Like, I think he played Harbor maybe LCQ, but Crow is barely on Harbor like throughout the year at all. 5 casts with concuss, 100% rate. I mean, pretty damn good. Shin on Fade. 8 for 8, 100%. Zipan on Breach, 15 for 15, 100%. And Scream with his ult, average kill per cast on Phoenix, 0.45. And not so blinded by the light. Flash utility data to shed some bright light on a topic that was best at turning flashes to Chinese players. I know they're not going to have data on these, but the Chinese players are so cracked. Do you ever see Kong Kong or Smoggy dodge a breach flash? They don't even get hit by that shit. They're so fast. So the lowest duration flash time is 10s. Flashed 164 times, which is the 3rd highest, with a 0.566 seconds blind. Dude, 10s, I mean, we all know 10s got the amazing reaction times. That's crazy. Next, we have Starzo, 0.609, 117 flashes. Pretty crazy. Foxy9 at 0.661, 178 flashed. Kellogg's, 0.71. I mean, dude, Kellogg's, that kid's a lanimal, dude. I mean, considering EMEA was played on LAN, not surprised. 136 for 0.71 seconds. And the last one, Buzz. My man got flashed literally more than double than 10s did. 337 flashes. And he has 0.719. Korean mechanics, bro. Korean mechanics, bro. Holy, you guys insane. Now this one will be interesting. Talk about the maps. Let's look at who had the most dominant maps. I would not be surprised if Loud are dominant on Ascent on this one. Nope. Yeah. Best win rate on Ascent. BBL 5-1. Loud 11-6. Look at that. Your boy knows. Your boy knows game, bro. Your boy knows game. All right. Split Fnatic with an 82% win rate. Damn. Loud 11-5. Of course, another map for Loud. Fracture. This is EG's map. 100%. They almost never lost his map. Clearly, you can see 79%. One of the best on here. Actually, probably one of the worst on here, low key. But literally, teams would just permaban this against EG. They would not let them have it. The fact that a team let EG have Fracture was a mistaken pick and ban. Like, you done f***ed up if you let them have it. Bind. Paper Rex map. Oh, 100%, bro. With their Harbor on here, just, they just did so much work. 6-2, 6-4 with NRG. Okay. Okay. Lotus, Fnatic, 13-2, 87% win rate, 13 wins. I mean, Fnatic were absolutely dominant on this map. They were the one that really found the meta for it, running single duelist Rays with a Viper, and they ran Astra, but I think that's just because Boaster personally likes Astra, and most teams really ran Omen, but man, they were so dominant on this map. It's crazy. Leviathan with a 90% win rate on Pearl. Yeah, shit, bruh. I didn't know that. That one I did not know. That's crazy. That's crazy. PRX with 11 wins. I mean, Jinx Phoenix was almost unstoppable on this map, and something had just so many turn-up maps on this map for sure. Icebox. Surprised this is an NRG one, considering that Icebox was known as Fnatic's map for a really long time, but Icebox was also only in the pool during, I think, just lock-in. Maybe lock-in in like the first couple of weeks, but they took it out of the pool really early. Giants with 4 wins. And the last but not least, you can't see this. Sorry, my camera's blocking you. Haven. Fnatic with an 85% win rate with 11-2, and they have the most wins of 4-3. Wait, how did they have a win rate of 11-2, but they only have 4 wins? I think they made a typo on here. Right here. You might want to fix this. Fnatic also holds the title for most successful attacker side post plant win rate and defender side defuse rate with 74.8% and 39.1% respectively. Winning 75% of your rounds when you get the spike down is absurd. I don't think anyone's really talking about that. That is absolutely absurd. Tools of the trade. It's gunplay. It's all why we play the game. Roll the clip from Bren. It's a gun. You shoot them in the head. Who needs a rifle? GE 34 1 out of 52. I mean, dude, GE, I will admit GE's pistol rounds were good. Shout out to Aaron, bro. That guy was cracked with pistols. Fnatic 81 out of 132. Okay, 61% win rate. Okay. Furia 42 out of 74, 57% win rate. Little bit surprised there. Maybe I just really wasn't paying attention to pistols as much when I was watching Furia. Loud's pistols were good, but 56.6%, pretty solid. EG barely behind them with a 56.5%. I mean, if you just look at this, like, you have 3 of the top 4 teams at champions right here, and then you have GE just hanging out, you know. That's pretty fog. Okay, individual pistol performance. Yeah, Aaron, like I said, absolute menace. 1.724 KD on pistol. Holy, what a god. Next up, oh, I'm glad they put a Chinese player on here. Very cool. K-Knight with a 1.66. Trex 1.50. Cloud 1.573. Dude, Cloud's a beast, bro. Cloud's an absolute beast. Such an underrated player, man. He's an absolute beast. And Nats, I mean, you give Nats a ghost, heads will be clicked. Heads will be clicked. All right, bringing out the big guns. Boomstick. We're out here doing CS references. I mean, everything's a CS reference at this point. The Ares, one of the most underrated guns in the game. Highly recommend that you people learn how to use the Ares. I swear it is better than the Spectre. If you're gonna spend $1,600, it is better than the Spectre. Worth buying, worth getting used to using. It's not bad. I know the nerf, like, it sucks, but it's not bad. Anyways, let's go into it. EG Ethan, 10-3 with a 3.33 KDA on the Ares. Pog, love that. The Bulldog. Oh, surprisingly, Kong and Garnets with the same KD of 33 and 15. Bulldog is very good, actually. I'm a big fan of it. Guardian Cloud. Whoo! Boy can click heads. 19-9. The Judge. Now this one's surprising. The Judge. Mr. Mako-Sin from DRX. 12-2. I did not think that Mako was a Judge user. I really can't think about it too much, but I guess, like, my man just got 12 kills with it. Pog. Marshall DG Zin. 10-2. They misspelled his name on there. Riot, you want to fix that? Loud Kalanzine with the Odin. Dude, every time I think about Kalanzine with an Odin, it's either on Ascent, the B wall, of course, that's paper thin. He just shreds through that. Or on Lotus. You can use the Odin on Lotus extremely well. You play Broken on B site, and you can just spray through that wall as they go through A main. You can spray through so much. Spray through the door. I think Forsaken did a really, really good job of showing this when he played Astra on Lotus. Highly recommend using that gun on there. The Operator Psalm, 14-3. I mean, if you think about it, this is just top KD, so people who don't really pick it up that often, that's why you won't see YZ with the Judge or something like that. But my god, Sam, I mean, he did play Jet for NRG for quite a while, so I mean, he can op, that's for damn sure. The Phantom was Shadows, 38-21. I feel like that's incredibly low for a Phantom usage, but I mean, I guess maybe Shadows is primarily a Vandal player. If I remember correctly, he is a Vandal player. MW Zera, 17-6 with the Spectre. Stinger, Foxy9 knows what's up, 7-4. You gotta learn how to use a Stinger. It is brutal broken. $1,100 for a gun like that is broken. You need to learn how to use the Stinger. You gotta learn how to use the Marshall. You gotta learn how to use the Aries, and you'll be Bing Chiling. That's all I gotta say. All I gotta say. And the Vandal with Nats, 76 and 48. Again, not surprising. Nats is primarily a Phantom player, but my boy can click heads for show. Let's go on to the honorable mentions. Beyond agents, maps, and weapons, the inside teams also zoomed in on some of the other interesting tidbits throughout the season. Okay, now this is what I really live for. Just hold W or play for picks. Well, the W region is going to be Pacific, and the play for picks is going to be EMEA. VCT Pacific teams have the fastest average time to plan at 52.3 seconds. VCT Europe teams have the slowest average time to plan at 60.4. I mean, all you gotta do is watch one Navi game, bro, and you just, that's how you know. That's how you know, bro. Just watch one Navi game, bro. Watch Angel cook. Watch him cook. All right, the last little bit of this article. I know this might be running a little bit long, but I've had a lot of fun just waffling about this stuff. Like, this stuff's fun to me. Score ain't nothing but a number. Only 2 teams have been able to use the myth of the 9-3 curse to their advantage more than once. NRG and C9. NRG is 2-1 when down 3-9, and C9 is 2-3 when down 3-9. 2-3. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, the fact that it still occurs, that's 40%. I almost did math wrong. 18 out of 32 teams have a 0% win rate. That's tough. Only 2 teams have come back from a 2-10 half to win, DRX and Team Liquid. If you've seen that DRX one on the comeback, ooh, bro, slap them across the mouth, bro. There were 67 games throughout the year with 2-10 halftime scores. DRX and TRL were the only ones to manage a single comeback each. That's a 3% comeback ratio. Woo, that's low. It's real low. Teams are 0-26 when trailing 1-11 and 0-4 when trailing 0-12. I mean, if you lose in a 1-11 or a 0-12, something needs to be said either about your team or the map, because that's the highest scoring game of the year was Zeta versus RRQ in the LCQ. This was an insane matchup between these two. Laz was popping off this series. Zeta pulled out the win 21-19 that lasted 97 minutes. Nearly the same amount of time for a Shinkansen trip from Tokyo to Nagoya. Damn. The longest game of the year by time duration goes to Carmine Core versus BBL at just under 105 minutes. Carmine Core grinded away to win 1917. That's crazy. That's absurd. That is absurd. Anyways, that's the end of the article. I hope you enjoyed running through this article with me. I had a really good time. I'm just such a big nerd for all these tiny little numbers and these tiny little details that it's just really cool. So thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comments if you enjoyed this kind of style of video where I'm a little bit more casual, a little bit more just waffling about my kind of stuff that goes through my head and talking about the game that I love. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. And until next time, stay hydrated. Peace.